Good afternoon, Patriots. I'm Ryan Samuels. This is the Ryan Samuels Show. For everybody that has been watching for the past couple of years, every time we talk about national elections, I am always saying we need to focus on our local elections. Our local elections are what actually change your direct life. Sure, the national elections, presidential, congressional, and Senate, they do too, but nothing more than your local election. I got a call from a few city council candidates in Jacksonville, Florida, that brought up a situation that was a little suspicious with the behavior of the council while they were running. So I have a video here I'm going to play of one of the councilmen after they pulled some tomfoolery. Check this out.
You know, I'm a candidate for City Council District 7. It's a shame what you're doing. A few minutes ago, you bring a map out here that you can't even read. You give us 45 seconds to talk. It's a shame. It's a shame that y'all are trying to get Mike Gay out of District 2. That's what you're doing here. Then you're putting me over in another district with one of the council persons. I realize that you guys don't want me to run against the candidate that I'm running against. I've got calls from council persons let me know that they don't support me, they support him. Some of you guys are on the Jack's Chamber.
So that was Charles Barr, Jacksonville, Florida. I have him here on the line, and we're going to hear from him exactly what happened there. Hey, Charles, how are you? Welcome on the show, man.
Hey, Ryan.
How's it going?
Not too bad.
Okay. Well, I just played the video. I don't know if you saw it about what you said about them changing districts and all the stuff during the election. So kind of fill the viewers in on exactly what happened there.
Yeah, so we were down at City Hall. They had some maps outside that we were looking at. Then when we got inside, they brought some brand new maps on us to look at them, and then we had our time to speak. They gave us 45 seconds to talk. You could say the maps because, you know, being on small paper, you couldn't hardly read it. This stopped.
Okay. So I have a couple of other people that ran with you. I have Eric Parker, also from Jacksonville, and Mr. Mike Gay. Let me reorganize this. There we go. I think that's good. I'm the biggest one, so I kind of like that. So
yeah, we can see it now.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. So Mike chimed in a little bit earlier and told me he wasn't feeling well. So I hope that you feel better. And you were also running for city council in Jacksonville?
Yes, sir. City Council District 2.
Okay, so what's your take on the situation with moving all the maps around and everything?
Well, this is the second time that this has happened. Basically, they came after me where I lived at, and we called them out for political targeting to just move me out of District 2 and put me into District 7/8, whatever it was going to be. Me and Charles would have to run against each other.
Okay, so how long before the election did this occur?
Oh Lord, we got qualified here in January, and here we are starting the end of the middle of November trying to get new maps drawn, and it's like all the candidates are out trying to work their territory, and now we're in limbo, and we're still in limbo on what the district's going to be.
So you don't even know what the district is going to be, and you guys kind of been running around campaigning areas that you don't even know if these are going to be your voters. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's we kind of go where we feel the sure thing's going to be, but there's no guarantee.
Gotcha. I understand. Mr. Eric Parker, welcome on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
And I'm living the dream, every day. So what district are you running in?
So I'm also running in District 2, and Mike Gay is one of my opponents.
Okay.
And I mean, like, as far as like the redistricting goes, we're all in the same boat. Even if we disagree a little bit on like where the district line should be, if it was up to us, I think we all agree that there's definitely some shenanigans going on. And, it's mostly about political control. The establishment, the uniparty establishment wants to put as many grassroots candidates as they can in one or two districts. And then that way that their hand-picked candidates for the establishment get the districts that they want them in. So.
Yeah, so redistricting is a common practice, and it's an absolute shady one. So that's why for my listeners out there, if you ever look at like a congressional map or a city map, they're not just like blocks, like just squares. It goes down and then goes up and then hooks around and grabs this and grabs that, because they're trying to isolate voters into one political party or for one specific candidate. Now that puts the candidates that are trying to run against the incumbent opponent at a serious disadvantage, because the way they map it is to grasp voters that are already there. So Charles, what is the next step? So have you guys collectively gotten together and tried to get an answer on this? Are the parties helping you guys out? What's the solution to get this resolved?
Well, let me comment on the mapping first. So my district is hugely affected, possibly cut mine in half. So my district went from the St. Johns River up to the, it's possibly cut in half from the Trout River South and Trout River North, and maybe put into my district and then calling it. We don't even know at this point. So like Mike said, a couple months away, about a month and a half away from early voting or absentee vote politicking. So we haven't got together, the three of us. In my opinion, we're not being really helped out by the party. So we're the grassroots, and we're having to fight this alone. Hopefully on this thing out, but I don't know that that's a guarantee.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, would you say that Jacksonville is a corrupt area? Do you feel that this election and this redistricting is being done with the purest intentions, or do you feel that this is being done to favor a certain candidate or not?
Well, I think when they redistricted by law back at the beginning of the year with a map, I think it was around February, March, they came up with a new map, and it changed a little bit. But what they're doing now, to me, is just some shenanigans. If you take the four in question, 7, 8, 9, and 10, if you look at it like a piece of pie, all pie around, they're not doing anything. They're not trying to benefit for districts at all. You take someone like me, I'm a grassroots candidate, not a Republican, and I want to do stuff for the community, but it looks to me like they're fighting tooth and to separate us. I personally think that they're trying to separate me and my former candidate, because what he's going to do is move his district or move his address down below the Trout River, change his address, and run against the same candidates that I already beat. And that's what's happened. So I think, yeah,
So
there's some shenanigans.
Excuse me. So they moved. Let me get this straight. I'm going to pull Mike up here. So they moved you out of a district so that you would be forced to run Charles Bar. Is that right?
With the with the purple maps that they were trying to get enacted, they were. But with close to 100 people we had go down there to fight for the San Mateo community to stay in District 2, they, under pressure from the community, come up with a map that kept District 2 in San Mateo in District 2, but it wasn't by their choice. It was by the pressure that we put on them. So I am in District 2 right now per the city's map. One of the plaintiff's maps, I'm not, but two of the plaintiff's maps, I am. So it's in the judge's hand for her to decide.
So this is going up to the court. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Good. And you know, that's the only way we're going to fix this kind of stuff. So I don't know if you guys know, but I was very involved in Jacksonville. I was a supervisor at the Jacksonville Transportation Authority, which I'm telling you right now is probably one of the most corrupt organizations in the city. Number two, I was a Jacksonville sheriff, right? I was a Jacksonville sheriff in Zone 6. So I saw the corruptness in the MTA, and I could talk about that for forever because it's just so entrenched and so in depth that it's sickening. But what I saw at the sheriff's office is I watched the mayor of Jacksonville physically with my eye bribe every officer in the sheriff's department in order to have them forfeit over their pension. So this is how it went. Wendy Curry came in to the union meeting, and he said that if you guys vote to remove the pension from new officers coming on, not you guys get to keep your pension. If you vote the pension out, we're going to give you a 25% raise. If you vote against removing the pension, we're going to give you nothing. So that, by definition, is bribery. And of course, what happened? Everybody voted it out. They voted for the 25% raise. So that's been my experience with Jacksonville, and just how entwined and corrupt it is. And I think that most governments are corrupt, which is why on this show we always push to limit the government and protect people's constitutional rights. So Eric, how has this redistricting affected you in your campaign?
So it has affected me, one, with the gathering of signatures. We were allowed to get signatures outside of our district up until April because we didn't know what the district lines were going to be. And then I think it was around April 4th, they said, okay, moving forward, you have to start getting signatures in your district only, District 2. And we all shifted gears and did that, started doing that. But now we are, I think, one day away from signatures needing to be turned in, but we don't even know what our district's going to be. So once again, we don't know if we're qualifying for signatures, which most grassroots candidates attempt to do. We don't know what signatures are going to count, what district we're going to be in. Like, my location is pretty central to District 2. They got pretty as close to cutting me out as they could if you looked at all the different versions. I'm kind of central in the middle of it. But District 2 is the only district that crosses the St. Johns River, and it does that to keep the establishment Republican candidate in District 2. So not the incumbent. Like, the incumbent, Al Ferrero, is term limited out and running for mayor, but right across the canal from him is the establishment Republican candidate that they want to keep in District 2, and that's Lindsey Brock. So that's what it affects me. It's really, I don't know who my opponents are. I don't know if the signatures I've gathered are going to count, even though the deadline is, I think, tomorrow. And we don't, it affects strategy, political strategy altogether. So.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and it sounds almost as if that's the point of it all, right? So I'll tell you something else. So I'll bring Charles up here because Charles, I saw a video. I follow all of you guys on Facebook except for you, Mike, because I've seen Charles out and about, and Chris Parker actually came and knocked on my door because at that time I was gathering signatures. But I follow all of you, and Charles posted a video one day that you went to a debate or something and they wouldn't let you speak because you were affiliation with your political party.
Oh yeah, it was the first debate at City Council District 7, Highlands Library, and about a month earlier I got an email inviting me to the forum. It wasn't a debate, but then about a week or so before the forum, after I've done everything to be able to go, they sent me an email, uninvited me, a Republican, and they didn't want me there. So no, I wasn't able to go because of that. So my final opponent, which was Reggie Gaffney Jr., he went to that one. 6 more forums following that, and he didn't attend any of them. On the 7th forum, I think it's because that's the one forum that they gave us questions to, so we had questions ahead of time. He also didn't show up. From what I understand, on that first forum, he went, I could believe it. So yeah, I was invited, and then I was uninvited because of my.
Okay, so was this a legitimate debate that was open to people running for city council, or was this your opponent's party only type of event?
I don't really know. The public was invited. I know that. I could have, because I told people about it and they went. So I don't know if it was, and then they realized last minute. I don't know. But you way, but
okay.
Nevertheless,
were you able to partake in any debates at all during this election?
Yeah, that's what I'm. So we had a total of, I believe it was 8 forums. On the 7th forum, Reggie Gaffney Jr. showed up to. He didn't. He never would debate me. I requested on Facebook to him, to the county news media, asking him to debate me, and he never would do it. And that was the 7th one that we had.
Gotcha.
He kind of
have any of you? Go ahead.
I just said he kind of stayed out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was probably afraid that he would lose if people heard what he was saying, right? It's
Possibly,
typically
yeah.
what happens in elections. If they're not out debating, if they're not out, fighting, that's because they feel that they don't need to, that it's going to do more harm than good, right? If they say silent and quiet and they look good in the polls, don't go out and say anything that might, screw up your numbers. And in my opinion, if you're running for political office and you have candidates with different opinions, the public has a right to know what those different opinions are publicly, and they should debate each other. You shouldn't hide
Sure.
behind anything. The public has a right to know what your opinions are, what your goals are, what your missions are, for your city or your congressional region or your state or whatever. But that just shows that maybe he's just scared. Charles, what do you think?
I don't know. Maybe so. Well, maybe we'll have another opportunity here shortly.
Sure, of course. Now, Mike, have you participated in any debates?
No, sir, no debates, but excuse me, I've been to several forums, but
Okay.
no specific debates.
Okay. What about you, Eric?
Same thing, no debates, but some of the same forums that Mike Gay has been at, I've been at them as well. And I mean, I think him and I both were open to invites. Anyone that wants to host a forum or debate, I'm sure, I'm not going to turn down an invitation for an opportunity to talk to my community. I've been to I think at least 3. And that's the weird part is we were kind of being lumped in with the crowd that was running in the primaries this last year, even though Mike and I and now Charles Barr, our election is going to be in 2023, but Charles was in like a special runoff, unitary, I guess, a special election. So they lumped us in during the primary season for all the other offices, which was a good opportunity for us to be able to talk to people. And I feel like, I don't know, I've noticed that it's kind of slowed down. These local elections, which are important to us and should be important to the people to get involved in their community, they don't get quite as much attention as, the primary election season.
No, I agree. So when I found out that Charles was excluded from that debate or forum, I took the video and I sent it, and I have a very, very great relationship with the local news media in Jacksonville. When I was a sheriff, I got and I still maintain that relationship to this day. Typically, if I have something for them, they will do something with it 100% of the time. So I had brought this up and said, hey, you guys may not be aware of this, but a candidate running should have a voice and should not be excluded. Like if you're a legitimate candidate, you should have a voice. Them with Charles being excluded is a problem, right? And I think you guys need to report on this. And then my contact at the news studio said, you're absolutely right. We're going to put it on the air at 6 o'clock. I said, okay, fine. 6 o'clock comes, nothing. I hit him up again. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Oh, well, they don't want to run it. And we know what it is. It's their connections with the city council. They're trying to shut this down. Something happened there. And I don't know what it is. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not going to jump to conclusions. All I know is anytime, and I've done this probably 50 or 60 times, 100% of the time I brought a story to News 4 Jax, they did something with it. And for whatever reason, anything I brought to their attention, including this, for this election, has gone nowhere. So that's a question I think that they need to answer, and I hope News 4 Jax does, because this is going to be circulating around Jacksonville pretty strong for the next month or two. So, Mike,
Yes,
one
sir.
thing, what you're running for District 2, so I'm gonna District 2, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what is your most important thing that you think that you're going to contribute as a city councilman? What's your number one main issue in District 2?
Well, being able to get a hold of the the never-ending waste of money where our infrastructure and it's just totally failing with our crime. Being able to take my talents and abilities from being in business for 30-something years and be able to implement that into the city budget, and to where we can sit here and finally get our due share on the north side. We haven't been a forethought, we've been an afterthought and totally put on the shelf to get anything over the years. And so with being able to come in and bulldog for this community and our neighborhood, and understanding how they finagle our finances away from us, where we don't get our roads and our infrastructure. The developers come in and do what they want to do and just leave us, ravish the land and leave us with the spoils. I will come in and I will put forth effort to get this resolved and back like it should be.
Thank you, Mike. Eric, same in District 2. I guess you're in now, right? Or we don't really know yet.
Yes,
For
District 2.
What
Still
is your
District 2.
what is your main what is the biggest problem you see in District 2, and the biggest thing that you would like to change for the citizens of Jacksonville?
So here in Jacksonville and District 2, my number one goal is to end corporate welfare here in Jacksonville. What I mean by that is our taxpayer dollars being taken from District 2 and sent to other areas of Jacksonville, and projects that should have started 8 years ago, like widening of Alta Road. That money was taken and spent elsewhere in Jacksonville, but it's being specifically sent to the well-connected cronies here in Jacksonville. So number one is to end corporate welfare, and then cut spending and cut taxes. As a libertarian, I'm always talking about cutting taxes, but I understand that doesn't happen in a vacuum. We already have a several billion-dollar debt here in Jacksonville because of the unfunded pension, because of all of the extra authorities like JTA, JEA, etc. So I want to make sure that we're on a financial standing, pay off our city debt, and then corporate welfare.
Okay. Charles, same question. What is the biggest problem you see in your district, and the biggest thing you want to see help the people of your district in Jacksonville?
Ryan, so there's, as you know, there's quite a few up here on the north side. They're doing a lot of building. I'm all for building. I'm all for new development infrastructure that's currently here. Like he said, they monies from working on streets up here on the north side, and they push it across the river. But to me, in our communities, is for, let's talk about our youth for just a second. Our youth throughout districts 7, 8, and I believe 9 and 10, a lot of them have closed down. So we know that the crime rate's fairly high, and a lot of times it involves young kids. A young boy that just got killed last week. We have to put a stop to that. Community centers open back up. That'll help kids do something and have them activities to do and keeping them away from the criminals. I've been talking to a lot of seniors throughout the city, and centers have closed down too. We have to take care of the seniors, and we have to take care of the children. On the north side districts, that's not happening, and I want to see it done. And of course, you live here on the north side, you know how bad they are. So we need to put some monies that way. Like I tell folks, I don't have a nonprofit organization tied to me, so that makes taxpayers go to quite often from city council is not going to go to me. That money needs to be where it belongs, not to the city councilman.
Sure. And Charles, I can tell you from personal experience, I was a Zone 6 police officer on Dunn Avenue in Papa One, right? And I will tell you from the bottom of Zone 6, which is where Lem Turner and Broward Road is, all the way up to the end of Jacksonville, and all the way over through Ocean Way, all the way over to the beach. There is about 5 police officers there night shift to cover that entire area. So there's a serious low lack of police presence that no officer is ever going to tell you or talk about, but I'm not there anymore, so I really don't care. But that's a major problem that contributes to the crime in that area is a very low lack of police presence throughout the night. And when we were there, a lot of us officers knew that and discussed it, but they just don't have the people to fill it, unfortunately. And I don't know if it's a budgeting issue or what, but it's for sure a problem. So, all right, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming on and letting us know what's going on. I'm going to go round robin. If anybody else has anything last to say, we'll start with Mike.
Hey, thanks, Ryan, for having me on here, putting up with me with my hardly no voice, but appreciate what you're doing and getting this word out to the community. And just we got to do our part. This is our country. Jacksonville is our city, is our country, and we must defend and we must fortify our city and get it back on the right track. And I appreciate patriots like you. Thank you.
Yes, sir, and thank you. Eric, last words?
Yeah, Ryan, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate you reaching out. It was a pleasure meeting you in person. That was about a year ago when we first met. I've been following you along. I just want to say we're here, obviously, because we care about our city, and we want to bring it back to what we believe it can be. Anyone interested in following along on Facebook, Eric Parker for Jacksonville City Council. Go follow the page. Website's ericparkerforjax.com. Feel free to hit the donate tab if you're interested to help out the campaign. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, Eric. Thank you for what you're doing. Mike, thank you too. And of course, Charles, thank you guys. You know, I know it's really hard for you guys. I'm sure, you know, when you're running in campaign and you still got to work too, right? You got to put food on the table. So it takes a tremendous amount of, you know, dedication to get this done. And I appreciate what you are doing with your free time to try to help the community. Charles, last words?
Ryan, so as you know, my district, whether it be District 7 or this is, it's majority Democrat, and I'm a registered Republican. So watching this, I just want to let them know that I'm here to work for the people of this district, in districts 7 or 8, or just on the north side in general, that's been neglected for, I know, I can remember when businesses were booming in the Gateway, East Side, Norwood, Lim Turner, and over the last 3 or 4 decades, or 4.5 decades, those businesses don't seem to want to bring it back. We have the food deserts here in our districts, and there's no reason that for decades there's been no stores for these folks to go shopping. One of the food chains who wants to put them, and as soon as I get in office, I'm going to try them in. But I just want folks to know that I'm there for them. I'm not for my own communities on the north side. They can get a hold of me at my website, Bar4Jax, my Facebook, Bar4Jax. Ryan, I thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Yes, sir. Again, everything you guys are doing for the city of Jacksonville, it sure needs it. Mike, what is your, do you have a website, Facebook page that anybody can?
The website is MikeGayforJax.com, and then the Facebook is Mike Gay, City Council District 2 on Facebook.
Okay. All right, viewers. Check them out, man. Guys, so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys for coming on. My name is Ryan Samuels. This is the Ryan Samuels Show. Now, I'm going to explain this to you guys, why I'm doing this. I usually don't deal with local elections, right? You guys know I'm heavily involved in national elections and violations of individual constitutional rights, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, whatever it is. I've been deeply involved in the Twitter scandal. You all know that. But I have said this since day one. Your local elections are where you change this country. If you are tired of scandals at the federal government level, you need to change it at the local level. Once you change it at the local level, that dictates the state level, which then dictates the national level. That's how you do it. You got to build this country back from the ground up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tune in tomorrow night at 7:30. I got some new Twitter file information coming in. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, bless, and have a good day.